Hey everyone, Luke here, and again, apologise for this review being a little bit delayed. It's just the other day I was incredibly tired from work and everything, and also last night I was watching the Control Chaos Twitch stream, thanks to Fex on there. Really awesome stream, enjoyed it, was there for the whole 8 hours. Yes, an 8 hour stream. That's kind of like saying that of some anime series, but yeah. Seriously guys, go and subscribe to Control Chaos. I'll leave the links in the description for the Control Chaos YouTube, the second channel, and the Twitch, and basically everything Control Chaos. Cause as some of you know, I've been doing a lot of content on there with the guys, and I guess now I'm sort of like an honorary member of the Control Chaos, for lack of a better word, considering the fact that doing the Chainsaw Man video, according to Red, I'm now the British Devil. Which I guess I'll take that title, the British Devil, Lash and Luke, the British Devil. God, what costume would I need for that? Probably need like a Jack the Ripper from Record of Ragnarok costume. But yeah, I'm getting way off topic here. Bottom line is, go and subscribe to Control Chaos. Really awesome guys. We do a lot of stuff over there. We've got so many more ideas coming up in the future. But for now, we'll talk about Mission Yozakura Family. Alright, so this will be chapter 135 titled The Gold Rank Spy Meeting Part 1. Now, even though it says Part 1, that might only just be a Part 2. It might just be like a little like storyline here of just like the Gold Rank Spies meeting and discussing like, okay, yeah, Momo is a serious threat. We've got to figure out what we're actually going to do with him. So yeah, we'll get into the chapter right now. So it starts off with Kai informing Koichi, like, yeah, basically what happened in the last chapter. Like, yeah, basically Momo's a bit of a problem, and it's and you guys are being blamed as well because Momo is quote-unquote the head of the Yozakura family. Even though he's defected, he's kind of sort of the head, even though Mutsumi is the head. Like, it gets a little bit confused. It gets a little bit confused of like, how exactly do you go through the process of like becoming the official head of the family? Like, is it just like, she's born, or she doesn't have the powers? Okay, she is the head. Okay, then what then? And also as well, like I've been saying for a while, aren't Ban and his wife going to be taken into account because they're part of the older generation Yozakura family, like Ban's wife being the 8th head of the Yozakura family. So aren't they going to be taken into account? I digress. So yeah. After that, we have Koichi being like, "Okay, Tayo, I'm just gonna drag you along like a dog." Okay, now the Chainsaw Man references are getting off the channel here, because you have Koichi dragging Tayo by his neck, basically like a dog. Like, oh, do you want to go for walkies, Tayo? Walkies? Okay, we're gonna go to the just have Tayo there, like, just quit pulling on me, man. And Koichi's like, something wrong, Tayo. Quit acting with the kind act. Never mind that. No. Koichi is like, something wrong, Tayo. Like, he's acting like kind, but yeah, Tayo immediately sees through the BS that is going on here. Like, okay, Koichi, I know what you're like, and yet, who are you? What have you done with the real Koichi? Quit acting with the kind act. Never mind that. Weren't you just talking about a gold rank spy? I mean, why do I have to even come in? Like, Tayo's like, I'm just a silver rank spy. Like, why do I have to come to this meeting? And Koichi gives his answer, which is like, oh, Kai Isumu asked that you specifically be there, though I don't know why. Yeah, me and Pie-Jan's on the Control Chaos Discord were kind of like a bit like, yeah, this is kind of sus on Kai's part. So after a while, we cut over to Futaba and Shinzo being there as well, alongside Kai, and the granny who's like who was like a gold rank spy but is now retired now. So they're all meeting outside her store. as we have Kai say, Tayo, it's been a while, and Fruita's like, oh, you're both doing okay, and they're like, yeah, Momo did escape, or at least we got some information out of him, so we can get this meeting underway, and Tayo's like, oh, but where are the others, and Fruita explains like, oh, they all went home and they cleaned up mess, yeah, no problem, and guys like, oh, so let's just all head on inside right now. And as they're heading on inside, we have this Koricho big buffy guy. Like, seriously, this guy, I'm just gonna zoom in for a moment, but yeah, this guy. Tell me that's not Koricho. Tell me that's not literally Koricho, just with a stringy tash. Yeah, that is definitely Koricho right there. As we see doing something to Shinzo in a Hisoka type way, if that makes any sense, guys. That's the best way I can put it here. As we have him going like, okay, I'm not sure if even I can say this. Oh, you've got a nice upper body Shinzo. That's basically the best way I can actually put it here without me thinking like, is this even allowed? Am I even allowed to say this? But yeah, Shinzo is just like freaked out just as much as I am by this guy. It's like, yeah, he just comes up out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, you've got a nice upper body, and yeah, Shinzo's like, yeah, just get away from me, man. Like, why would you do that to me? Like, because Shinzo is obviously the most self-conscious about himself, even though he's like the big muscly Rambo type Mission Yozakura family member. He's obviously one of the more like self-conscious type family members, which is a nice contrast in terms of his abilities and his actual personality, which is what I think a lot of people love about Shinzo himself. But yeah, this guy is called Alexandriu, so yeah, that's going to be a bit. Yeah, I'm just going to call him Alex. Like, I think that's like, I think that will just make it easier. So we have Alex, who is the weekly underground gossip magazine Spy Day editor-in-chief Gold Rank Spy. So yeah, he's basically the editor-in-chief of like, yeah, the underground like spy magazine. I think that's the one where they have like the poll for Ayaka, who is like, yeah, third year running spy you wouldn't want to have as a girlfriend. So yeah, I think that's the magazine he's the editor of. So we have him going like, we have him just analysing just what he was doing with Shinzo. So yeah. Finally he said something that I can actually say here. Shinzo, you sure you aren't interested in doing a... Okay, yeah, can't say that. Can't say that. So yeah, you're gonna have to go and read the chat, because this guy is just like, yeah, you thought Koricho was creepy. Yeah, it just seems like the author with this was like, yeah, Koricho has not been creepy in a while. I don't think he's gonna be creepy anymore. So I know I'll make a spy who's even more creepy, so that we still have someone to be creeped out about, but it's not Koricho. So you guys have to be reminded of how creepy Koricho was at the beginning of the series. So yeah, what excuse me. What Tayo is most impressed about is how Shinzo just blasted Alex into a wall. He's just like, oh yes, fine, I can just write down everything, no problem. Like, it didn't even phase him. And we know in terms of physical strength, Shinzo is probably the strongest, just in terms of raw physical strength out of all the Yozakura fighters. And the fact that Alex was able to just brush off this attack from him, no problem, just... again, it's quite impressive of how resilient he actually is. Before we have somebody else coming in who is a lot more. I think a lot of people when they see this character, it's like, oh yeah, this is one of my favorite characters. We have this who's most associated with Fruitsbar. I think it's more to do with the fact that of their size and how and their fashion sense, because she is dressed up as a Lolito in the same way that Fruitsbar is. So that's kind of like what they identify with here. And she's like, Fruitsbar, I just want to hug. I just want to hug you. And Fruitsbar is like, yeah, you're not getting a hug of me. Because I am not a doll, so stop trying to hug me every chance you get. Shura. So her name is Shura, this other character. And speaking of that doll thing, I was like, yeah, you probably Fruitsbar, you probably get along well with Twilight Sylvie from the vampire who lives in my neighborhood. Yeah, that is an obscure reference. Like, I don't know if people even know that series, but yeah, Miss Vampire who lives in my neighborhood. There's basically a vampire who has a doll-like appearance, and the other female is just like, oh, I just want to hug you because you're such a doll. Yeah, I think Fruitsbar would get along well with Twilight Sylvie from that series. But yeah, Shura is a military. Is from a military industrial complex Arashel group, and she's the general CEO of there, and she's like, but we've finally get to see each other again in such a long time, and it deserves a long overdue hug. And Princess is like, yeah, let's just start this meeting now. So it's kind of interesting how we've got. Koricho has has an associate, and so does Shinzo, and so does Fruitsbar. We're going to get into something interesting in a bit, but it's very interesting how we're getting people other than Tayo who have major connections with the Yozakura family. I mean, we've had characters before like Rin and Show who have connections with the Yozakura, but never in this close friendship capacity, if that makes any sense, until Kai and these other two characters were introduced into the series. So it's kind of interesting that we're getting that, and it's going to lead into, like I said, something that an idea that I've had for ever since I first read this chapter on Sunday. Okay, so it's right here where we have you know what? Saying her full name is it's just gonna get confusing. I'm gonna call her but then I have Sho and Sui. There we go. Sui. So we have Shura. Okay, I'll have to use Shura. Okay, so we have Shura, who's basically a little puppy dog here. Is or a little child's I really wanted a hug off you, Fruitsbar. And Fruitsbar, fine, okay, I'll get you can have a hug, and even though you're my childhood friend, you can be such a handful. And Shura's like, oh, thank you, Fruitsbar, can I carry you? And Fruitsbar's like, no, you may not. Okay, so it's that line with that Fruitsbar says there, childhood friend, that gets me curious of how they came to know Fruitsbar, and how I guess Alex came to know Shinzo. That is something that I really want to know. Was Alex and Shinzo childhood friends in the same way Fruitsbar and Shura are? Fruitsbar and Shura, I can understand why they would be childhood friends, but it'll be interesting to see if Alex and Shinzo have that same connection. And it'd be even more interesting if it was sort of what happened with Kai and Koricho, how Fruitsbar and Shinzo found these two, and they were like, oh, come into our world, and they taught them in the same way that Koricho taught Kai the ways of the spy. And this gets into the idea of what I had about Kai, how he might potentially have a blooming. Now, people are going to be saying but it's established that only the head of the family can give out their blood to give out blooming. And to be honest, that just makes me think why does that have to be the case? That could have been basically a lie or partial lie that the Yozakura family told, so that people are not trying to kidnap them all the time and steal the blood to get more bloomings out there for the world, or to fall into the wrong hands. So it might have been a case of okay, only the head can do it, and it can only be once. So the the only once might be partially true, but only the head can do it. I feel like that is a partial lie, and it's like, okay, yeah, any one of the Yozakura siblings can give out the blood. This is the theory that I'm going out with. Any of the Yozakura siblings can give out the blood to others, but it's not as well developed as, say, it coming from the head. If that makes sense. So Kai may have a blooming, Shura may have a blooming, Alex may have a blooming, but it might not be as well defined as Tayo's hardening ability. It might have properties on the level, but just not as well defined. And like with Tayo, it has to come from someone you have a strong connection with. Like Futaba giving it to Shuru, that would make sense because of the fact that they're childhood friends. But with Alex and Shinzo, that may need a further explanation. But yeah, I would like the idea if that was the case. If it was like, okay, yeah, it was a partial lie. Any one of us can give out our blood to give someone the blooming, but we've had to keep it a secret because of the fact that if they found out that any one of us could do it, then we could all be in danger at that point. And also because of the fact that it might not be as well defined as it is to say coming from the head of the Yozakura family. So yeah, that would be an interesting concept to explore if that's the actual case here, because it begs the question of like, okay, as Keigo giving his blood to someone to activate their blooming, what would it be? And it just opens up many more possibilities. But yeah, moving on with the chapter. So yeah, we have Alex trying to introduce himself to Tayo, and Shinzo's like, yeah, Alex, you are not getting anywhere near Tayo after what you've just done to me. And Koricho says to Kai, and really happy that we've actually got this very, very early on after Kai's introduction, the actually seeing Koricho and Kai in a scene together. Koricho says, "Oh, it's rare for all 10 of us to get together," and Kai's like, "Rare, try, unheard of. I didn't mean to rush everyone here, but it's time to begin the gold ranks by me." And I love how Tayo's just there, just like, I am really out of place here, because you have someone who looks like Ai with goggles. You have someone who looks like Aisawa from My Hero Academia. Obviously, you have the other sides like Alex, Shuru, Koricho, Shinzo, and Futaba, and then you just have this other one who just has a G on the screen who looks like the devil. Is that the stick man? Is that the fan made stick man from that fan made chapter? And then you also have like a woman who standing next to sitting next to creature is strangely the most normal out of all of these. And of course you have Alex just trying to get Shinzo's attention, kind of like knows me senpai. So yeah, we have Koricho being handed some papers by Kai, and he's like, "Oh, could you tell me what's the meaning of this ridiculous waste of paper?" And Kai's like, "Okay, so let's start by watching a video we uncovered, and it was on the deep website DarkTube." Oh my god, is this just like a DeathTube reference? Again, another obscure manga, but I've not read DeathTube, but I know what it's about. I know what it's about. I have a vague idea of what it's about. If somebody has read it, can you let me know if it's anything like what it says on the tin? And of course, the video that they uncover is of Momo, because it was posted only a few hours ago, and we see Momo just going around with his dark dark cherry blossoms, just slaughtering people, just gathering up their simonia to kind of bring Re back to life. Basically, typical Momo stuff. And he's like, "Oh, hi children, how are you doing? It's your beloved Papa." Like, he probably knew, like, yeah, the only way I'm gonna probably get their attention is if I film them and upload it on the web, because Shion could probably get it easily. I mean, if Kai can get it easily, Shion could get it. No problem. Like, Momo specifically made this because he's like, "Notice me children, because I'm going to keep doing this until your mother's revived, and I want to show you just how hard I'm trying, so I started a dark tube channel." And we see again just all the Yozakuras, including Koichi, just like freaking out about this, like giving the look of like, how dare you do this to us, it's making us sick to our stomach. And Momo is just oh my god, Momo is giving off the crazy face here. Just giving off the crazy face here of just being like, I'm in bliss about what's been happening. The latest batch of fertilizers was made from 100 bronze and silver rice sparks. Okay, this explains why they want to completely disband the Yozakura family after that. Yeah, Momo is taking out spies at this point just to bring his wife back. But it goes on and says, dispose of as many underworld goons as you want, and no one will grieve. So it's a good time. So it's good for the environment. We're getting closer and closer to the day your mom comes back to life, and the day she becomes the main villain. And be sure to and he does the whole YouTube thing, and like, "Oh, make sure to be like, subscribe, sponsor the subscribe, and click that bell for notifications." The only thing that was missing was for him to just blurt out like, "This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends," and just go off on a or just a variation of Raid Shadow Legends, just go off on a tangent of just like him being like a big boss in Raid Shadow Legends. Which, by the way, stop it. I'm going off on a tangent here, but seriously, stop it, Raid. No one likes your game. Stop it. Okay, that was uncalled for. If anybody's watching this, if you like Raid, I apologise. Go out, enjoy it. But seriously, there are much better games out there that you could be playing. Like, do you even want to waste your time on playing Raid on your phone or your computer, where you could be playing more awesome games like Guild Wars 2, Star Wars The Old Republic, Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 being a more appropriate considering what's going on here, considering like the dark cherries in here are like the creatures in Resident Evil 7. But yeah, Resident Evil 4. I'm just looking at the games I have up here for my places. Simpsons Hit and Run, Metal Gear Solid 2, Grand Theft Auto 4, Dynasty Warriors 4, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just One. So many awesome games. Like, seriously, I would rather play Yu-Gi-Oh! Judas of the Rotions any day than Raid Shadow Legends. Like, I know this is going off on a tangent here, but I needed to say this. Like, Raid needs to stop doing these spells, because it's been going on for so long now. People are sick of it. Come up with something better. And that is a rant that is going to burn a lot of bridges right there. And I don't care. I never want to be sponsored unless it's for something that is actually gonna be worth me being sponsored by. And I want to be able to say what I want to say about it, what I enjoy about it, not be like, okay, we want you to sponsor us, but we want you to sponsor us positively. Like, I know they want to promote their thing, but seriously, if you want to promote your thing, fine, do that yourselves. Don't get people, don't force people to lie, because that is what Raid is. It is a lie. Like, I played it for like 10 minutes and then immediately deleted it. Like, again, okay, I'm done with my rant. we can get back to the chapter. So after the video has ended, Kai informs them that, oh, people are vanishing everywhere from organisations all over the world, including ours. Not only that, the culprit is posting videos of himself perpetrating the crime. Never mind the underworld, even the top levels of regular society are catching on to this. So yeah, they're pretty much saying like, yeah, not only is Momo going around making it a spectacle, but he's also perpetrating them during the video itself. Like, he's deliberately doing this to get people's attention and to get sorry, I had to move the lens a little bit there, but yeah, he's purposely doing this to get attention from not just his family, but also from everyone around him. And I feel like he's doing this deliberately because he wants what's being proposed in this chapter to actually help. Like, he wants to keep the Yozakuras under his control without any freedom or any association with the outside world. And it's now it's being revealed that the perpetrator is the husband, and like basically going through like, okay, it is Momo. He's even though he's not part of the Yozakura family, he was still married, and he's still the father of the Yozakura siblings that are in charge now. And in fact, it's gone bad enough that the government, the police, and a section of the Spy Association came together and submitted this proposal. Like, I can imagine Ren or the one with the eye patch. Like, she was probably against this, but showed as part of the police, like, that he was probably like, no, I'm all for this. And it's basically they want the Yozakura family expelled from the Spy Association. Now, with this, Fex from Control Chaos thinks like, oh yeah, this is obvious endgame stuff here, because it's going to be like it's going to lead to a civil war with everyone, and it's going to lead to the Yozakuras finally proving that no, we are capable of functioning without Momo, and he has nothing to do with us, and getting their reputation back. But again, seriously, every time we try to discuss when Yozakura is ending, it just keeps on going. So I think at this point, we really need to just be like, never guessing when Yozakura is going to end, and just going along for the ride. But yeah, Kai goes on to say like, oh, this is the topic of today's meeting. This is why I've called you all here. And Shinzo is just like expelled, and Kai is like, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Our father's gone insane, who's clearly and publicly targeted his own family, interacting with the Yozakura family, and you run the risk of drawing his attention. So basically, the Kai is doing this for the potential of everyone. It's like, yeah, if you interact with the Yozakura family, this is going to get Momo's attention. It's probably going to get you killed. And they go on to say, now the Yozakura family is practically an organisation all on its own. The proposals read is that the family should be responsible for cleaning up its own messes. So like, they're thinking like, yeah, even though Momo isn't part of the family, he is still technically part of the family, because you guys are his sons and daughters, so therefore you have to clean up his mess. And if the proposal gets the majority in this meeting, that'll mean they'll freeze any shared assets, confiscate any loaned equipment. And she's like, oh, this is all too sudden. And Alex is the first one. Yeah, we'll kick them out, because even though I do love the Yozakura family, but information is a spy's lifeblood. Any scoop on a scandal inside a famous spy family, as the editor-in-chief of the Spy World's #1 gossip magazine, and as a gold rank spy myself, this is too stimulating to pass up. Yeah, I'm with you, Polyjams. I hate this guy. Yeah, so yeah, your opinion is invalid, Alex. And he goes on to continue to say, don't worry, I'm sure the Yozakura family will have no problem getting along without the association. And if you need a place to hide, I've already set up a special room at my place just for Shinzo. Yeah, nobody wants to know what your special room is, Alex. But yeah, this raises the question, like, do they actually own the Yozakura mansion? That just one line of dialogue from Alex raises the question, like, is the mansion owned by the Yozakura, or is it loaned out to them? Because if it's loaned out to them, then that means they're going to essentially be homeless if this gets a pass. But of course, not everyone is in agreement with Alex, as we see Shura going up to it, just like having weapons at his face, saying, "If you're going to pick on Futsubara and her family, then I'll kill you. This is all Momo Yozakura's fault, right? Futsubara and her siblings have nothing to do with it. I'm completely against the stupid proposal." So yeah, it's nice to see that we have someone who's actually seeing it for what it is. Like, yeah, Momo is his own person. This has nothing to do with Futsubara and her siblings. So yeah, this proposal, you can stick it over the ass. That's basically what Shura's saying here. And Alex is just like, "Oh, so fired up are you? Are you sure your hormones aren't out whack?" Okay, yeah, seriously, this guy, I cannot say half the stuff he says on camera. But Futsubara was like, "Okay, Shura, quiet down. We're in a meeting here, and I'll admit our problem is starting to cause collateral damage. So stop if you cut it loose then." But then Shura's like, "Oh, shut up, Futsubara," which is like, wow, never expected that from her. But at the same time, I kind of expected that. She goes on to say, like, "I'll do whatever I want. If anyone gets in my way, I'll make them pay. That goes for you." So yeah, she's like, "Yeah, I'm on your side, Futsubara, but if you get in my way, I'm still gonna have a go at you." And Futsubara's like, "Oh yeah, great. There's your bad old habit again. It's been ages, but what do you say we make this quick?" As they're all preparing to fight, like Futsubara, Shura, and Alex, and they're like. And Taiyo's like, "Yeah, this is turning into a battle, this meeting." And Shinzo was like, "Okay, can you calm it down here?" And Kai expected it to go this way, but he reckons that it's just the beginning. Believe it or not, there's some of the more reasonable gold rank spies that will completely derail this entire meeting, and the problem will be him. Which is as Kai turns to look at Creature, and Creature's like, "This garbage is not worth discussing. If you want to expel us, fine, do what you want. The Yozakura family will not falter." And this is where Kai's like, "Well, I guess it's my turn," and that's where the chapter ends. So really interesting chapter, which is in follow-up to what happened in the last chapter, where we're actually getting like people actually turning against the Yozakura family because of what Momo is actually doing. Now the question is Kai going to turn against them, or is this going to be like or is he going to turn against them, but at the same time make it so like, okay, they need to prove themselves that, yeah, Momo has nothing to do with us and we need to sort out this matter on our own. So he might give his situation like, "Okay, we won't expel you, but at the same time, we're not going to help you with Momo, so you're on your own." I feel like that's kind of the idea that that Kai will go off here. Like, yeah, you guys have to prove to us that you are capable of taking down Momo without our help. I mean, you can still have your equipment and everything. We won't expel you, but you're on your own. We're not going to help you in this situation. I feel like that's the best idea that we might go down here, unless it's a case of like Kai and some will help them. We just don't know yet. I mean, like I said, Kai, Shura, and Alex, they may have bloomings in the same way that we know for definite that Sho and Ren, eye patch person, might potentially have a blooming themselves, because they have the drug that was developed in order to awaken bloomings from Tampopo. So yeah, that's something that may come into fruition, and maybe we'll get those two's opinion on the matter. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lashaluk signing off. Later, guys.